Abdul Kulabazun Tapla Tat Wadana Ben Mahu Hadis Aishu Inakalu. Anuki Fi and Aishu Shukalu Wakul Aishukalu. Na Takuna Fikalu. Anuki Fer Gun Shukalu. Wa Kalu Kalun Fer Gun Shuni. Anuki Wahid Kakalu. Wa Kalu Kalun Wahid Mai. Nuk Aikilu. Anju. Kama Fer Gun Shukalu Wa Hub Kama Feidu. Nuk Aikilu Ahwenu Kodik Nuka Fizu Fikalu. Kama Tawu Kama Kafazi Kalun Lia Amidu Fikalu. Anuki Kaba Hawahud. Kalu Kalu Nanuki. Kalu Yaku Ni Aikilu. Kalu Babu Ni Kamilu. Again, all prayers, thinkings, and deeds with who divine love and all. I am in love of all love is me. We are all in all. I am a part of all, and all is a part of me. I am one with all, and all is one with me. I could succeed as a part of all and fail as an individual. I can be all I wish and all as long as my wish is to stay in all. I am never alone. All is I am. All can I can. All does I do. Who am I?
Kawun Fi.
Come on, feet.
All right.
All right. You want to read the personal note?
Yeah, I'll read the personal note.
All right.
A personal note from the inscriber. I, your master teacher, Dr. Malachi York, am calling you to accept this wisdom that I have to give you of the many teachings that I have inspired you to learn. The mind is one of the greatest, for it was a special gift given to you by the Anunnaki Elohim, angelic beings who are your descendants, down to you. However, you refer to them as your ancestors. This scroll is a revised copy of the original scroll called the Mind. The reason why I am bringing it forth to you again is because the first time I let it out, it inspired many of thousands of minds out there. So I give it to you again in a scriptural form so that you may understand it more fully. Make note that all of the quotes in this scroll is coming from the original Aramaic, Hebrew, Greek, and Ashuric Arabic language, and in the original chapter and verse order. However, you may also refer to your Bible, Quran, etc. For the new order for these quotes, also make note that the foreign words used in this scroll is coming from our divine language called Nuwapi. The reason for this is so that you may learn to speak your own language without other translations. This is your first step. Children of the Most High, all of you Nuwapians, this scroll purpose is to guide, to improve your everyday living, everyday emotions, everyday saying, etc. Know that I am here to guide, to break the spell of Leviathan, Kingu, and put you back on the right path. So hearken unto all of my words. However, it is only those who want to listen to me and follow my teachings. This is one of divine inspirations, along with the Book of Light by Dr. Malachi York, the Ratib of the Mahdi, the Prophet by Khalid Gibran, etc., which was all sent to you for proper guidance and for keeping the remembrance of the Most High within your mind, body, and heart. Make the teachings of this scroll a part of your everyday life. Don't just read it and put it down. Study it intensively, and by all means, give it to a friend or a child or parents who are in need. This is universal knowledge, which I send forth to you all.
I'm wondering how many of y'all have read, or I'm pretty sure some of y'all know I haven't seen it, but I've read, know of the Mind, the book Pahul or Elahul in this one, when we was in Nubik, moving from Nubik to Nawabik. So in Nawabi is Pahul. So we will start the scroll number 1, the enocyte, mortal man. Now, the Mind Scroll can also be found in the middle part of the seventh chapter, The Living Soul of the Holy Tablets as well. So if you don't have the hardcover like this, you can still go through it. And if you have the Holy Tablet, it would be chapter 7, which is The Living Soul. Okay. Lo, all of you children of Nuaubu, you have embarked upon the name Nuaubian. I, your master teacher, who you know as Dr. Malachi Z. York, have been sent to you to break the spell. I am about to impart upon your mind the mechanics of what you call the master organ, or simply the brain, which works with the mind. Know that your mind was a special gift given to you by your ancestors. What does that mean? When they say your mind was given to you by your ancestors, we know through our studies that as beings were evolving here from genus Homo to Homo erectus, while they was in the Homo erectus state, there was an intervention by divine beings or more advanced beings that came down and gift us with their DNA in order for us to be after the likeness and the image of them, thus enhancing our brain capacity and giving us the ability to discern and have knowledge and, learn language and build and learn science, math, etc. Okay? Whom I call your descendants, for they came down to you from above. They are called Anunnaki. And Anunnaki is the same as Natiru, the same being that y'all call Natiru in Tamaray or Kemet or Egypt, who art the Elohim. Elohim is Aramaic Hebrew for saying the same thing. And all the Malaikats. Malaikats are angels, or the same thing as an Anunnaki Elohim, but that's in Arabic. You'll find that in the Quran, for example. The angelic beings, the ruler of which the Al-Maluk ul-Mulk, Al-Malik ul-Mulk, the ruler of rulers, or the king of kings, who is Anu, called El-Elo, meaning the source, Allah, meaning the source, or Yahuwah, meaning O He who is. Or Theos, and that's when the Talmud took a hold of it, meaning God, or God to many. All within the El Kulum, the all. They're all within the all. Within the confines of this page, you shall embark upon the knowledge of the mind, which is working with the brain and the nervous system. 3 out of your whole body and being. The brain is one of the most intricate of organs within itself and was created by El-Elo, the Most High. This knowledge which I am given to you have never before been taught to you by any. Remember, my dear Nuaubians, with right knowledge you receive right wisdom and a right overstanding over all. This is the science of your way of life, Nuaupu. The challenge then, dear enocyte, is to gain control of the mind by methodically slowing down its continuous rambling, internal dialogue, and focus on positive and uplifting objective. It is possible to begin to understand the working of the psyche and bring about a more effective life. Going back to that, the challenge then, my dear enocyte. Enocyte means mortal man or forgetful being, from the word nas or insan. Also and she from ancient, Sumerian and Akkadian language, and she also can mean government. Is to gain, right? Your challenge is to gain control of the mind by methodically using certain method and skills, slowing down the continuous rambling, the questions, the doubts, the emotions that trigger certain the thoughts that trigger certain emotions and ideas and worries, right? The internal dialogue. This is the conversation. This is you versus yourself, your ego, your pride, me, myself, and I, that part of it, right? And focusing on positive, change it into focusing on positive and uplifting objective. It is possible to begin to understand the working of the psyche. Mind your mind. Pay attention to your mind. Mind your mind. Right? As the saying go, mind your mind for the jewels of your soul. And bring about a more effective life. Becoming more responsible and not lazy when it comes to checking yourself and controlling certain things to live a positive and more dynamic existence. Okay, 20, which is the millah, okay, of the Anunnaki, the ways or the way of life or the ways of the Anunnaki Elohim, also known as materials or the gods, your ancestors. Some people call them Orishas, some people call them Genwain, Kachinas, Nomos, etc. Let me begin by giving you the nature of the Humem, who is the mortal man, the human being known as the enocytes. Free will does exist, but only when it is used to break out of malevolent, disagreeable, bad habits that have been developed in life. What do you think that means? So free will does exist. What is the difference? Okay, so if free will does exist only when it is used to break out of malevolent, disagreeable, bad habits that have been developed in life, right? It tends to mean that every time you do something that you consciously and subconsciously know has a negative or adverse effect on your physical, and also every time that you put yourself or indulge in situation that can affect you emotionally negatively and mentally negatively and physically, then this is not your will. This is you conforming to the primitive side and animalistic instinct and nature of you, and not tapping into or not willing yourself to tap into the godly or the supreme aspect of you, which is more responsible and can actually withstand temptations into of falling into follies and malevolent, disagreeable habits and situations, right? The children of Enos, the son of Seth, who is called in tone Shith and in rhythm Sheath, and his wife Aklemia, meaning that you are the children of Seth, who was the third son of who you call Sakar, known as Adam in the Bible, the one that was born without the barytheric gland. So Seth, son Enos, was the one born without the barytheric gland, meaning without his full higher senses intact. Okay, without access to telepathy, clairvoyancy, psychometry, and connection to communicate with directly to the ancestors, making him susceptible to forget, to become more of a lesser thinking deity or human being, meaning this is where you get the word forget, forgetful as in nasut, or physical or mortal as in enos. So his name was mortal, enocyte, right? Or man, insan, inanimate, right? Or nas. This was the third son of Zakar, we all know as Adam. O ye children of Enos, know that ye all have fell from being the supreme being. This is because of the removal of your berethia gland. From being a human, right? Supreme being to a human being, to human, to man, to mortal, to mammal. Mammal, just, in etymology of the word mammal, come from Italian, which means beastly, beast, down. Don't fall any further, my child. So we have people here, as y'all see today, living today, that either fall into these particular categories, right? Human beings, or just a simple human, lost, confused, or like a mortal, or just straight up animalistic behavior, beastly behavior. Those are mammals now. You don't know whether they're, intelligent or not. They seem like they act like animals. Don't fall any further, my child. Study this scroll. When the enocyte searches for happiness, they invariably turn to external objects and events for satisfaction. Right? When you search for happiness, you tend to look outside of self. Most people tend to look outside of self, whether it's substance, whether it's indulging in the opposite sex, whether it's money, whether it's, any type of things, you know what I mean? Instead of learning to find peace within self. Humans, this is a human, not a human. We're talking about humans, right? You tend to look for satisfaction for external objects and events. They merely think, if I can just have this car, or if I were just able to get this job, or if I only live here or there, then I would be happy. They have no perception of the fact that the mind may be still and at peace for a short time of attaining the desired object. So the mind may be still at peace for a short time on attaining the desired objects. But eventually the mind becomes tired of it, or its newly made toy, and seeks treasure elsewhere, still in search of happiness. All right? You fool yourself thinking that external things should make you happy. So you say, all right, if I can get this house, or I can get this car, I can get this girl, I can get this, that. Then when you finally get the car, you're not content with that. You're like, now if I can make it shiny, different color, get better system, if I can add some when it comes to the house, I need to add some more to it, bigger space. I finally got the girl, I'm tired of that girl, on to the next one. Because your mind have a tendency, it get bored too easily. It only get that moment of satisfaction from any external things, objects, and events. However, know this, my child, each time the external object failed to bring happiness, the enocyte may acquire new material possession, a possession with more responsibility, money, and a new dream home, being locked in person, place, and things. However, my child, there always remain the same mind. Your mind is an elusive animal to tame. This is very important for y'all to realize. You notice it's not you. You are not your mind. Your mind is an elusive animal to tame. Many theories exist as to how it works, yet the human process seems to remain intangible. Why does one so often find him or herself caught in the same frustration and the same problems? It is said that this is a free society, but in truth, it is each enocyte's own desire and emotion that blinds the enocyte. Consider this, enocyte. A person who smokes cigarettes daily claims they are determined to stop tomorrow. How many years has the enocyte been caught in that same, in this parade, in that same lie? How many times? Because tomorrow never comes, because you never catch up to tomorrow, because when it's here, it's today. And people always tend to delay on their own progress. They plan to do good deeds instead of just doing good deeds to self. They plan to be better instead of just being better. The enocytes truly want to be free of this habit, but lacks the necessary control of his or her own mind. What does that lead you? You know your flaws. You know your flaws. Even though you may keep your flaws away from the world, putting on a mask and a facade and a makeup for the rest to think that you are better than what you actually are, you know your flaws. So every time you pretend that you are great, you are a liar to self until you find the control, the necessary control, the willpower to become that which you set your mind out to be. Make it manifest in reality. Now, not then or when. Okay? In a sense, the mind is like a record or a laser disc. It contains grooves or impressions. These impressions are formed when certain thought waves become habitual. These thought waves become habitual, it creates grooves and it creates a cycle, and you fall into vicious habits. The benevolent example would be if an enocyte passes a bakery and see a chocolate cake in the window. How delicious, the enocytes say. I will buy that cake. If he or she ignores that thought wave and turns his or her mind to something else, then no pattern is formed. Soon as your mind starts thinking about things like, damn, I feel like I need to get some sugar, candy, pork, steak, meat, drugs, liquor, whatever it may be. At that moment is when you step in as a god or goddess. If you do not, and you let your animalistic mind fester in it, it becomes a deep groove that you won't be able to snatch you, that you won't be able to break away from. Next thing you know, it's constantly plaguing your mind over and over, and you're moving closer and closer to the snack that you're not supposed to eat, to the events that you're not supposed to go through, inside of situations you're not supposed to be experiencing. You have the control at that very moment, right? However, if he or she identifies with the thought, separating your thought from emotion. But if you identify with those thoughts, the enocytes give it life, right? Give life to it, energy to it. And that energy will tack onto you. The enocyte buys the cake, looking forward to enjoying it as dessert that evening. Now, suppose the enocyte finds he or she must pass the same bakery every Wednesday and Friday. Each time the enocyte goes by, he or she recalls the wonderful cake again and purchases another one, right? And purchase another. Now ponder this. What was originally just a flash in the mind has become a force in his or her life. There can be grooves in the mind which are uplifting, and there are those which brings one down. There must be a striving to develop love, compassion, a sense of service, cheerfulness, kindness, and many other qualities, which not only makes one's own life happy, but which radiates to others. It's like you can create bad habits. You can also offset it with good habits, but which radiates to others, okay? Everyone wants to be his or her best. Each person would like to think that he or she is perfect. Yet, despite repeated resolution, every person finds so many times being less than what he or she would like to be. The cause of this predicament is the ego, or the Enki, in Aramaic Hebrew, or El-Tat, in Syriac Arabic, and ego in Greek, and as we say in Nuwaobic, foot. The ego, my child, is the cause of all bondage and is the chief barrier to the experience of reality. So, the ego is what trap you, it causes all bondage, and it's the main barrier, the block, for you to experience reality, to think realistically and deal with reality. If you can't deal with reality, you won't know how to assert things realistically and fix things realistically and responsibly. So mind your mind for the jewels of your soul. Cool, any questions, comments, concerns, or anything anybody want to add on before we go to the ego? Scroll number 2. Scroll number 2, the ego. Nuwaubians, Nuwaubians, one of the schools which I, your master teacher, known as the Reformer, El-Mujaddid, El-Mukhlis, Yanun, Rabboni, El-Imam, and Melchizedek. I have many names for the many cloaks I wear. I must take you through a school of the ego. Know ye that this is one of the hardest attributes to destroy. This is the attribute that is carried out mostly by the evil reptilian one, Samael, also known as Zuen, or the devil. The disagreeable aspect of you. When they say the reptilian, we're talking about the reptilian, your personal reptilian nature. The limbic brain, the R complex, reptilian complex of your brain. The one that is scared, the one that's ready to fight or run. So it creates barriers, illusionary protection called pride and ego. He who is the son of Shachar and Melita, reject him and his attributes, and let him or his followers not into your heart, for he and they would only lead you through the door of misery. However, through the teachings of the ancient mystic order of Melchizedek, or let's say Nuwaubu, the science, also known as Amam, or AEO now, you can learn how to burn out the ego. This is definitely done through discipline, right? Through the journey of the scroll. When you're dealing with the school of thought that he is talking about, this is where you go into meditation, your discipline of fasting, your ashutat. There's a reason why the master teacher wrote these scrolls. For those who want to avoid these things are those who do not care about what he came to give and do not understand the bigger picture and can move and fall to the wayside for all we care. My family, we do, like he said, my family do as I do. And he wouldn't be wasting his time writing these scrolls if you're not, for you not to apply these things. So question yourself instead of those who are involved in applying what the master teacher has put forth. Check yourself. Through the journey of this scroll, I will impart upon your mind the words of the ego. The ego is the self-arrogant aspect of the mind. It is the ego which separates the individual from unity with others and within him or herself. For the ego asserts the I-ness. The ego is the greatest obstacle to obtaining peace. It's the greatest blockage for you to have peace. And if you don't have peace, anxiety is there. You always feel like there's something wrong or there's something's gonna happen. This impending doom is on its way and you don't know what it is. And it's just hormones in your body, all through your blood, okay? For it is that which occupies the mind with whether we are better or worse, possess more or less, have greater or lesser power than others. The ego is attended by desire, pride, anger, delusion, greed, jealousy, lust, hatred, racism, and leadership. So you see that when people start talking like, I have an anger problem, you can register that as ego. Pride problem, ego. If they're delusional, they don't want to see the truth for what it is and they make up stuff in their ego. They're greed. They're not thinking about everybody else in the tribe or the family. It's all about self and my worry and this and that. Ego. Jealousy. This brother is built in or he's carving the best looking thing. He think he's good. Ego. All of this. Okay? The ego is the most difficult aspect of the mind to control, for its nature is such that it deludes even while one is striving to overcome it. That's how slick ego is. I'm going to meditate so I can crush my ego. And you sit there for only 5 seconds and fell asleep and wake up and say, yo, I'm a spiritual being. I just meditated yesterday. Cut the crap. When the ego is subdued, energy can then be utilized. See that? Ego uses a lot of your energy, your emotions, your energy and emotions, which can be utilized constructively for personal growth and the service of others. We are to serve, not rule, right? Mind your mind for the jewel of your soul. How do you learn how to be a servant? You serve yourself the proper way of thinking, the proper life, the proper diet, the proper situation, the proper company, the proper circumstances. Get yourself better first. Learn how to swim before you pretend to be a lifeguard, lest all of you will drown together. Okay, any questions, comments, concerns, statements, anybody? Understand what's going on? The scroll right here from the master teacher is called the mind scroll. This is something that you should carry with you and just constantly remind yourself. Just in case you tend to forget, something that you could read a little bit, just open one chapter in the morning and just read it and just be like, oh, I'm gonna live by that. Just to get your confidence up and a reminder to stay in line, stay in tune, stay balanced.
Wow.
Cool.
So I know this book was written before, like like social media and stuff like that. But would you say, like, when you're going through, like, say you're about to go through like like a little purification for yourself, right? And you're trying to get like you're trying to get your ego in check. Would you say like you have to kind of like put down social media while you're going through you know what I'm saying, like, just for this practice, like just practicing like your ego, you know what I'm saying? Because I know a lot of times, like, let's say if I tell myself I'm gonna do something, like I'm gonna do this or I'm gonna do this, you know what I'm saying, I'm gonna stop like judging others, you know what I'm saying? But like as soon as I get on social media, you know what I'm saying, like my mind, because you said something about like it becomes habitual, like when you start doing something all the time, it starts, you know what I'm saying, starts becoming habitual. So would you say, like, if you're going through your self-purification, to like abstain from like social media for a little bit, so you can get your ego together, or that wouldn't help?
Well, see, with what people don't know, because they don't know themselves, right? They don't know that the moment they get those questions like that, right, it is really the God you saying to stop that, right? And then it goes into the animalistic part of you and the reptilian part of you, who will turn it into a conversation and a plan for you and say, should I? Or I will do it, instead of it is time now to do it, right? So when you say, I wonder if I should basically stop watching TV because that takes a lot of my time, and start focusing on myself. Is that what I should be doing right now? Because I do need to see, this is what the mind jumps in and try to block and distort the true message that you yourself already know the truth, what you need to be doing for self. It just comes out, you know, the people that don't want to accept it as truth delude themselves as it and turn it into a question to themselves, so as to not really know that this, you know, not to accept the responsibility of doing it right away, cold turkey. You follow that, y'all? All right. That makes sense, right? All right.
Sure.
That reason's out. Scroll 3, the power of thought. Lo, all of ye, enocytes, project some kind of vibration to those around you. This is him telling you that you are naturally telepathic and naturally psychometric, right? You project, you're constantly transmitting and receiving energy from you. You're transmitting from yourself to others, and you project it to others, and also receiving it from others. And even in that case, you can pick up other people's thoughts and energy. And the fact that you do not know yourself, your thinking is yours, and you turn and have a discussion with yourself, and then you get possessed by it. You accept it, you fall into it. So you project some kind of vibration to those around you, whether it's your children, your family, your peers, etc. Some are a pleasant to be with. They seem to have a certain energy that they share with others. Then there are those who are absorbed by the negative and the depressed. I can't do this. This never worked out for me. The moment you get on the phone with them, you're like, how you doing? You know, did you brush teeth this morning? Yeah, but my bills is here, man. I'm telling you, man, these people get on my nerves. Those type of people. Always trying to remind you to feel sorry or feel bad for that day. Then there are those type of people, those who are absorbed in the negative and the depressed, and they seem to actually draw energy out of people in their environment. The reason for this, my child, is because there is a power contained in thought. The power of thought. You know that it is very subtle. You should know that it is very subtle. Yet it does exist, and it is extremely powerful. Whether a person is aware of it or not, the enocyte is constantly transmitting and receiving thoughts. This, my child, is why people have experiences of what you call ESP, or extrasensory perception, from time to time. Some wish to call these experiences coincidence, but they are not. He's telling you again, you are using your higher senses, but you do not know yourself, so you don't realize you're using it, so you can't discern the difference between an intruding thought and your own, so you mix it up and make it yours, because you're greedy. Every thought has weight, shape, size, form, color, and qualities, and power. For example, a spiritual thought has a yellow color. This is true. While yet a thought charged with anger and hatred bears the color red. A thought is like an object. Just as an apple can be given to your friend or taken back, so also is it possible to give a useful, powerful thought to someone and take it back. There is a power and energy into which each person can tap if they, enocytes, only know it's available to them. But how do you take the time to realize that it's available to you when you have so many things? Your mind is running 100 miles an hour and your emotion is always out of whack. What must you do to calm the noise? We spoke on that already. Work on self and what you put inside of your body, so your body does not always have to be at war trying to and spending energy, body's energy, trying to get rid of the damaging effect of things that you put inside of you, or energy waves that you are listening to or being around. Start with that. This force inspires, encourages, influences, and gives strength to all those who seek to grow in a positive direction. Many enocytes, however, are unaware of this resource, or they have misconception about it. They are like the farmer who moved to a house in a city and live in darkness because he or she did not know what those strange sockets in the wall are. The light is there and available to all. The light shineth in the darkness, but the darkness comprehended it not. John 1:5. Like I said, and like the master teacher been saying for years, your body has so many potential and so many power and gift to it, from self-healing to healing others with emotion and mentally, right? And physically. It can do just about anything that you can imagine it does, but you are sitting in your car, which is your body, and you're hot because you don't want to press the AC button. You don't want to tap into those special qualities. You're just sitting in the car and complaining, sitting in your body and complaining about the damaging effects that you're feeling. You're sitting there, not putting in work. We need only to connect ourselves with the current, because become a child of light. That literally means that the light force shine in the darkness, and the darkness has never been able to put it out or comprehend it. And again, in El's Holy Quran, the 57th chapter, the 28th verse, originally 94:28, in part says, he will provide for you a light by which ye shall walk straight in your path. And also in Daniel's, the first degree, the 22nd verse, which was given to our prophet Daniel, the son of Jerah and Jebar. Here it says, he revealed deep and secret things. He knows what is in the darkness, and the light dwelleth with him. The law of fate. Gadur. The law of fate, my child. There is a law in physics that states, for every action there is an equal opposite reaction. To express its popularity, it is said that what goes around comes around. Yeshua HaMashiach, whom ye Christians call Jesus, and ye Mohammedans call Isa, who is known spiritually as Sananda, taught, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. These are all expressions of the law of fate, of cause and effect. Whatever thought or deed comes from a person will be returned to the enocyte, to that person. It may not come in the same form, but sooner or later, each person will confront the result of her or his or her own actions. So, if you're old and gray and your knees won't let you get up to play, do not be discouraged and overstand through your wisdom that through your entire life you have been doing disturbing things to yourself. If you wind up sick, or your energy level is constantly drained, know that you are doing something negative to yourself and you need to stop. Whether it's dietary or energy draining people that you keep surrounding yourself with on situations. Woman.
That's why I know some on the side who I was telling about the other name for the one who they was talking about as Jesus the Christ, who they would have liked to refer to. I was telling them about the intergalactical name.
Sananda.
And it right there now. For so those who for you who remember, it's right there as Sananda. So that's the confirmation right there for what I was telling you a couple of times.
Sure. Okay. A generous and giving person immediately draws a response of warmth and love. If the person is hateful, he or she will be disliked until he or she remove this negative quality. This is law. These reactions are not always experienced immediately. Sometimes enocyte reactions are not easily learned. The negative patterns may be concentrated for many years. A single lifetime, my child, may not be sufficient for one to obtain perfection. Some people create a hell for themselves. Some people dig a hole for themselves. Then they want you to stop your journey and flow to pull them out. This is why some people may have it hard and others have it easy. One healthy and another is crippled. One is cheerful and another depressed. One extroverted and the other introverted. One successful and the other unsuccessful. It is neither cruel fate nor a destined and unconcerned fate that sets the stage for these situations, but one's own fate, you. It's on you. Responsibility, all of this is you. At the end of the day, it's how you take things and how you give things. how you accept things, how you perceive things, it's all on you. What you allow to affect you, it's all on you. As revealed to our servant Ahmed, right, who is called in tone Ahmed, and in rhythm Muhammad, who is the son of Abdullah and Amin, who it is he who received El Quran from the Anunnaki Elohim Nusku, he who bears the title Gabriel, or Gabriel, the son of Raziel and Zamael, where it states in the original order, the 92nd chapter and the 79th verse in part, whatever good happened to you, it is from the source, Allah, and whatever evil happens to you, so it is from nafsika, yourself. And enocytes, life is his or hers own, y'all know what the next word is gonna be, responsibility. Mind your mind for the jewels of your soul. Any questions, comments, concerns? Talk to me, family, somebody.
Super.
Yeah. So Sananda actually taught the mind while he was here, right? So he was teaching a part of the mind teachings while he was here, who they would like to refer to as Jesus. So that's what you could also see here as well.
Two. Right, correct. Now we're going there, right? We went from mind, ego, emotions, potential, prowess. Now we're going to health and relaxation. Scroll number 4. Lo, my child, what I must impart upon your mind is the importance of a healthy mind, body, and soul, and a proper relaxation. Remember, my child, the very word healthy and health begins with the word heal. To heal oneself is step 1. To heal one's mind will heal one's whole body. And relaxation is simply to learn to relax. What ye must always remember, by taking proper care of your physical body, you are protecting your inner spirit. And by poisoning your physical body, be it through drugs, alcohol, cigarettes, junk food, sugar, salt, and I can go on, you are doing serious harm to your spirit, and it becomes weaker and weaker. Through the teachings of Nuwapu, you will be taught on how to nourish your body as well as your soul. Know ye that proper exercises, proper breathing, proper relaxation, proper diet, and intake of much water and positive thinking are the requisites attended that leads to a healthy, dynamic, and effective existence. Again, y'all heard it, right? Exercise, proper exercises, proper breathing, proper relaxation. Take some time out and just chill and be, silent 5-10 minutes a day, maybe, until you can do it longer, until you can go into meditation later. Proper dieting. Avoid salt, sugar, things that if you do not know, if it does not have life, or if you could put it in the ground and it doesn't grow, life is not in it, leave it alone. And intake of much water and positive thinking are the requisite attendants that leads to a healthy, dynamic, and effective existence. Proper relaxation is needed to maintain mental, spiritual, and physical health. Not laziness. I'm trying to go to work. No, the books say we must relax. Not that. Okay? Many of you think that relaxation involves leaving home for some exotic place where the mind and body are ceaselessly pumping with stimulants and depressants and a full range of other damaging delights. True relaxation comes from removing the stimuli, visual, there we go, edible, and otherwise. There goes your answer, Brother Seifu, right? To your question. Right? True relaxation comes from removing the stimuli, visual, edible, and otherwise, and turning into the inner awareness. Like any piece of sturdy machinery, enocytes, physical and mental body can take quite a bit of abuse before giving any sign of protest. Unfortunately, in Western thinking, it has become a practice to ignore the basic rule of health and to think that a pill here or there will relieve symptoms, while actually bringing about well-being. Quite the opposite is true. Taking pills and all that fake medicine, no, it is doing damage to you. Stick to the green, the roots, the herbs, nature, earth, okay? Pain in the body is a warning, like a red light on the instrument panel of a car. Taking this or that compound of chemical to remove the symptom is the same as taking a hammer and breaking the red light in your car. It does nothing to solve the problem, and in fact, may make it worse, while only giving the appearance of helping. Many chemicals ingested are not useful to the body and cannot be eliminated, and are therefore merely stored. The medicines accumulate along with the food additives that are eating in such abundance, on the average of 20 pounds per person per year, 25 pounds per person per year. And they combine with each other to literally poison the system. The effect may not be felt for many years. This does not mean that there is no need for modern medicine. Yet herbs of your own is much better. But often doctors consider to have some form of absolute knowledge. Too often, frequent visit to the local GP, general practitioner, specialist, or psychologist substituted for living a healthy life. Most of the disease of the mind and body can be eliminated by following the 5 basic points. A, proper exercise. B, proper breathing. C, proper relaxation. D, proper diet with much water. E, positive thinking, prayer, and meditation. Ashutat Pataru Gilapa Natirat. Ashutat is the road to the deity. Mind your mind for the jewels of your soul. Do I want to say anything?
Poor
Mana.
I just love everything that we're reading so far. As you said, tomorrow never comes, and you never catch up with tomorrow. And so far, he's obviously preaching how, healthiness, and we first have to heal ourselves. As he said, to heal one's mind, which will heal one's own body. So we really just got to start with really doing that. And then, unfortunately, as we just read, combined with each other, like poisoning the system, poisoning us all. And as we are what we eat, and we wouldn't even be able to complete other steps if we don't have our mind intact, our body in order. So this is very like just highlighting to start now with your health. It's just start. That's one step, and then you'll master many other things.
Tua, correct. Kaun thing. That's right. Tower hat.
Or
Four.
I'm here. Yeah, I was doing the Astro Chat this morning. Baka Astro Chat, and after I did it, I started reading a little more into it, and I just came across a portion of it that I never read about it, where it said after you finish your Astro Chat, you're supposed to sit still for a minute and let the Nitiru speak to you. So I've been trying it, as I'm doing when I finish, but it's like kind of hard to relax, to get to the relaxing after going through that process.
Don't look for a voice. Relax and let go. Natir, nature. Let it be natural. Let nature speak. Just relax. That's all.
Tell you.
It's not gonna come like a movie like, hey, my child, you are special.
Tell that.
So, scroll 5. Lo, thou should ponder on taking proper diet for thyself. He repeats that, which ye can also learn through the teachings of Nuwabu. Or right there it says ancient mystic order of Melchizedek. It's our science, right knowledge. Improper diet is another hindrance to spiritual progress. All foods have distinct energy. Yeah? You hear that? Just as the physical body is formed from the gross physical portion of the food that are eating. You are what you eat. The physical body is formed from the gross physical portion of the food that you are eating. So too is the mind formed, the way you think and all of that formed from the type of food, the energy, the subtle part from the food that you consume. All right. So if that chicken is screaming and you eat it, you're gonna wonder why your thoughts are screaming. Just so to say, just by saying. All right. If the food is impure, the mind also becomes impure. Cigarettes, liquor, narcotics, and fast food, and too much meat are the most detrimental, in fact, meat at all. That was 9. Meals should be simple, light, and nutritious. Seafood, my child, is healthy, but none in excess. Not a lot. Seafood is healthy, but not in excess. Most people eat far more than is necessary, merely out of habit or for a sense of gratification. An immoderate diet is the cause of the great majority of diseases, which are encouraged in modern society. They force you to do it, right? The mind is always looking for an excuse to avoid discipline. Just know that. You can't do it because you let your mind come up with the excuse that you can't do it. The mind is always looking for an excuse to avoid discipline. You must always listen to the inner voice of the self. Maybe I should start fasting this week, right? No, that means fast this week. Don't let your mind turn it into a question so you can have an answer like yes or no, because you will likely get forced to be saying, I'll pass it over to the next week. Got that? Ye must always listen to the inner voice of self. That's the God you, the true you, the one that when you do something wrong, you say, damn it, I should have listened to myself. There is two sides of you, 180 degrees of agreeable and 180 degrees of disagreeable. 1% is all that is needed to shift your emotion. 181 to the left, start the path of disagreeable actions or very agreeable. You are in control. You are in control. Wake up in the morning, and when you say your all affirmation, you say now, after you say all can, I can, all does, I do, you gotta start saying I'm in control 19 times. Just make that a chant. I'm in control. All right? I'm in control. You are in control. Listen to the voice of agreeable things rather than the complaints of the disagreeable mind. Don't listen to the complaints. What goes into the human body correlates directly to the efficiency with which the brain functions. He cannot stress that the most. What goes inside correlates with the way your brain functions. Anybody got any questions? Cool.
Yeah, I mean, it ain't really a question. It's more like, so like, you really are what you eat. Just, you know, it ain't really a question, but I'm just trying to really, you know, understand, like, how, like, detrimental stuff do to, you know, just like I'm doing in my everyday life. I don't know about
So, like, so understand that you know that, right? And also now, the reptilian and mammalian aspect of you know that, right? So, y'all, when you start thinking like, damn, that makes sense, you start getting questioned like, does that mean you're gonna stop smoking weed tomorrow? Just to throw the question ahead of time so you can have the person say, nah, this is how it works. You understand?
Yeah.
Don't listen to those negative things. It goes with everybody, whatever it is, right?
Damn, that was real. That was real. That was real.
All right.
All right. Cool.
All right, so where we at? What goes into the human body correlates directly to the efficiency with which the brain functions. And this is old scroll, so, you know. Recent studies show that certain red food coloring creates hyperactivities in children and that refined sugar can cause emotional instability and is what most start their children on. Sugar, candy, you want candy? You do your homework, you're gonna get candy. Let's just transform it. You want poison? You want poison? You do good thing, I'm gonna give you poison, right? You wanted to say something, brother?
I was just, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, I was just, you know, just agreeing with it, you know, because I got I got children, and I see, like, once we stopped giving them so much candy, you know what I'm saying? Well, I saw how calm they were, and then when the candy come back in, they get real, you know what I'm saying, excited. So I noticed that.
They turn against you like crackhead, like what?
Yeah, for real. Yeah, for real. And I noticed that too. Yeah.
And don't get it twisted, people. You are children as well. It does that to the adults as well. All right.
Yep, I'm done.
Okay. These are just two examples of the substance that are heedlessly consumed without understanding the effect on the body and mind, each of which has two parts. The body is one, voluntary, and two, involuntary. That which you control and that which takes control of itself and of the mind. One, good, and two, evil. which also tries to take control. Many intakes are bad, although not categorized as harmful foods. You see, you make excuse, that ain't really harmful. It's bad, still bad. These substances should be strictly avoided. You want me to say it? Or you have to read it?
Say it.
Marijuana, cigarettes, and alcohol. And a bunch of other stuff he said, red meat and blah, 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 right? Red meat, meat at all, etc. There is a growing awareness that our health is directly affected by what we eat. Almost any disease can be cured by either a change in diet or a short period of fasting. Oh, that takes a lot of discipline, ain't it? Oh, it just takes discipline. Which part of the mind say a lot of discipline or just discipline? It is not only true of physical disorder, but of any mental difficulties as well. It is particularly important that pregnant mothers have this awareness, for too often they do not realize the effect of their diet on the development or the developing fetus. Contrary to the popular concept, it is not vegetarians who do not get enough protein, but rather heavy meat eaters who takes in an excess of protein. Animal proteins contain a high concentration of uric acid. It is a nitrogen compound similar to ammonia. It is not water soluble, meaning it doesn't dissolve in water, and cannot be broken down by the liver. Thus, though a certain amount is eliminated, the greater portion of uric acid is deposited into the joint. The result of this is referred to as arthritis, hardening of the arteries, and heart disease are two of the most common maladies of the Western world, where the greatest amount of meat is consumed. The culprit, my child, is cholesterol, which also cannot be eliminated from the body, and thus from fatty deposits along the walls of the heart and arteries, gradually thickening until they are clogged and inflexible. The major source of cholesterol comes from the hundreds of pounds of animal tissue and its fat that each person consumes each day. Heart disease, hardening of the arteries, and arthritis are common infirmities. However, the one that strikes the most fear in the hearts of Westerners is cancer. Many substances have been found to create cancer in animals. However, results always seem to indicate that the amount consumed by the average person is sufficient to create cancer. So it does not necessarily have to do with a lot with the substance, but eating it a lot and all of that, right? What is not revealed is the accumulation of these poisons over a period of years does create cancer. These substances are innumerable chemicals that are injected into the animals. These increase weight to yield $4 per animal. Nitrate, food coloring, artificial hormones, and even arsenics are among the chemicals contained in animal flesh by the time it goes on the supermarket shelf. These, plus the many other additives consumed by members of an industrialized society, collect in the body and are stored in the tissue. Cancer occurs when the cell reacts to these excessive toxins, in a sense, mutating into cells which produce uncontrollably. So much for the horror of the meat industry. There are several other interesting physical and spiritual reasons for not eating meat. One is that it takes 4 times as much grain to feed animals than for an enocyte to consume it directly. These raises a moral question in regards to sharing our resource with poorer people. Plants are the original source of energy for all living things, as they store the energy of Shemesh, the sun, through photosynthesis. A person who does not eat a lot of meat not only taxes nourishment from the original sun, but their diet is more economical with regards to cost and the best utilization of available land. Seafood is very good for you, but that too can be taken in excess. Another more interesting fact is that an enocyte digestive system is not one of a carnivore. His or her teeth are designed through mutation for biting and mashing original vegetables. But after so much mixing, now many Nubians have canine teeth for tearing flesh, which is why an enocyte age, tenderize, and cook his or her meat to make it more eatable. Diets also alter the person's very appearance from human to animal, as well as his or her nature. Meat eaters are much more violent. The human liver is proportionally smaller than that of a meat-eating animal and is not built to handle the filtering of animal poison. Also, alimentary canal, which is short in carnivorous animals to speed poisons through the body quickly, is quite long in an enocyte, human, as it is in any vegetarian animal. Note, the untruth that you need meat or that you will lose weight if you don't eat meat. Herbivores are much larger than carnivorous animals. Mind your mind for the jewels of your soul, and we'll stop here. Concentration is next, page 24. Now after listening, anybody got any comments, questions, concerns?
It's definitely all about diet so far, and making sure that you're able to control, your habits of what you put inside your body and mind. That's what you're breaking down so far, for sure.
Well, I know in the scroll it mentioned that that we shouldn't be eating meat, but during war times, is there an exception, seeing that meat increases aggression, or is it that whether the warriors of the tribe or the collective, would they be usually meat eaters or still herbivores? I mean herbivores, vegans.
Depends on their culture. Depends on them and their culture. Just know that you're not designed for that. But if you need to be aggressive for that, you got to remember the herbivores are much bigger and stronger than the carnivores, right? Yes. And this is why the carnivores need weapons like teeth and claws. So, I would recommend, and we are spiritual warriors as well. We deal with nature, you know what I mean? That physical stuff, that can only last for a certain level. Do not assume that just because you are vegan that you cannot fight or you cannot, tap into the other side, that you just become totally docile. That is not true.
That's not true at all.
Yeah, that's definitely not true.
Or,
Yeah, ooh, the smartest fighter always win, right?
or because that's that part of your nature that you have. That's when you use that part, that other part when it's time for certain situations. Because that's the one that says what the fight or flight nature is still there. You just gotta know how to balance.
Correct. You have more control to tap into it when necessary and not reacting to it off of impulse. So much, meat and stuff will have that come out just because, your wife didn't cook your food right. What the fuck? You don't like me no more, So I'm just using that as an example. But you understand? So it is still in your nature. You'll have more control to select the proper time to use it. Herbivores are stronger and bigger than carnivores. Nature don't lie to you. Okay? And smarter.
All right, but in times of war, the aggression may not be as required then.
The Tamahus, remember, they have lost a lot of war, haven't they? When they went up against us many years ago, right? Because we were using the power of the mind, right? Not spooky stuff like all the time like that, but we were using intelligence and tactics. We were using nature. We were more, and while they were brute force and very predictable and very emotional, they would kill each other too.
Sure.
All right. I want y'all to ponder on this stuff. Just sit down and think, think about yourself sometimes. Like spend some time with yourself and think, what I do to get better myself in positive aspect. Do not beat yourself up. You know what I mean? It's already done. You're already in the muddy water. How do I climb out of the muddy water and get into clean water or clean way of life? You follow? So, tell our family for listening in this shadow hour. We'll see y'all Baden or Redden tomorrow, Bukra. So
I was going to say that based on the cycle that we're going into as well, and the genetics that could be awakened, all that would be facilitating the awakening of the higher genetics, the higher telomeres on your genetic strands. You know what I mean? So it makes sense, make perfect sense.
For the children in the next generation, you know what I mean? We try to break the cycle. Okay?
True.
All right, y'all. Let's end it with the all affirmation.
Abdul Kul Bazun Tapalatat, Wadana Bed Mahu Hadus Aishu Inokalu, Anuki Fian Aishu Shukalu, Wakul Aishu Kalu, Naata Kuna Fikalu, Anuki Feragun Shukalu, Wakalu Kadun Feragun Shuni, Anuki Wahid Kakalu, Wakalu Kadun Wahid Man, Aikilu, and you came after the Gunshukalu, Wahub Feido, Aikilu, Aquenu Kodek Nuka Fizu Fikalu. Kamata wu kama kafazi kaduni amidu fikalu anuki kaba hawood kalu nanuki kalu yaku nukekilu kalu bamu nukamilu. Again, our prayers, thinkings, and deeds with who divine love and all. I am in love of all of is me. We are all in all. I am a part of all, and all is a part of me. I am one with all, and all is one with me. I can succeed as a part of all and fail as an individual. I can be all I wish in all as long as my wish is to stay in all. I am never alone. All is I am. All can I can. All does I do.
Kaun Fin.
Kaun Fin.
Omana wana fero shot. Wadu.
Mr.